Discipline is very important, you know. And when you are saying in your question, many saints, they have renounced the outside world, and they have adopt a certain discipline to their life. Of course, at that time it was like that, but nowadays we can't. Nowadays, it is important not to get attached, because what make ourselves miserable is the attachment. We are saying yes, we want happiness. It is true that a certain degree of detachment is important. Detachment doesn't mean yes, I'd go and throw everything what I have by the window. No. Detachment means that I have an attitude that whether I have it or I don't have it, I am happy. And let's say, to attain the grace of God, so like again, what is the most important thing is the divine himself. No? So he didn't say that we can't have. Look at Krishna himself. Was he ever attached to anything? No, he had the palace, he had all his queens and all that, but he was always completely non-attached to anything. To whom he was attached to? Those who have this love for him. The gopis, the Srimati Radharani, the cows, and it was a simple life for him. This was he was attached to because of the love. He was not attached to the body of the gopis. What he will do? He knows that one day it is here, and the next day it's not there. There's this beautiful story that I was telling some times back. But once the gopi wanted to go and he was bringing the food to Agastya, and but Agastya Muni was on the other side of the river. So they went to Krishna and said to Krishna, please Krishna, we want to go to the other side to give food to Agastya. So how can we go? Then Krishna said, go to Yamuna and said, Yamuna, if Krishna is a brahmachari, a celibate, give way. And they were thinking that, okay, Krishna is a celibate, oh yeah, whatever. So as he have said, let's go and try it. So they went to the Yamuna. As they said, if Krishna is a brahmachari, celibate, please give way. Straight away, Yamuna parted. They crossed over. They went there and they gave the food to Agastya. So afterwards, the river carry on its own way. So they have to go back. So when they asked Agastya, how can we go back now? Agastya said, listen, you can say to Yamuna, if I have not eaten, give way. And I said, how? We have just give you all the food, you have just swallowed all the food, and then you just say that you have not eaten. But they didn't want to offend him, so they went away. So as they approached Yamuna, and they said, if Agastya have not eaten, please give way. And Yamuna parted and give way. And they were completely confused. So they went to Krishna and said to Krishna, please, there's something which is troubling us. You said first, you are brahmachari. We know you are not a brahmachari. We spend our night with you, and all your pranks and all this are not very brahmachari way. So how? And Krishna smiled and said, look, I am not interested in your body. I am just reciprocating the love that you have inside of you. I am a mirror of that love. I reflect what you have inside of you. Your body is here today, tomorrow it will be back into earth. So that's why I have my eternal relationship with your Atma. And what about Agastya? I said that he have not eaten, we just fed him all the food, he just swallowed all of them. I said, yes, actually, he have not been eating since very long time actually. How? Because whenever he eat, he's not interested in the food at all. He's not interested in the taste. He's not interested in what he's eating, because in his mind, he have me alone, and he's thinking of me, not of the food. So like that, he can say that he have not been eating for a very long time. So you see, here, coming to your question, hmm?
Should we perform austerities to gain
Yeah,
control of ourselves?
a certain discipline is important, So when you put your own self-discipline, you will honor it. And you see, by disciplining yourself, you will achieve a certain mastery upon things which is not needed. Because very often you do so many things which is not important. You have so many things, which you value so much, when later on in your life you see that it doesn't have any value. So like that, you see, he is reminding you that I am the most important. If you want me, your mind have not to be attached. Doesn't mean that you should not have all these things. No, you can have it, but don't allow your mind to attach itself to these things. If you let your mind be attached to these things, then you will suffer. You will be depressed. Once it's been taken away from you, you will get depression. You will not understand. So a certain degree of detachment, a certain degree of discipline is very important in one life. And there's also a beautiful story of a king. His name was Gopichan. Gopichan had lived his life, the wonderful king, and one fine day he decided that in spite of doing all his kingly duty, he was never happy. So he decided to let go of everything, renounce everything, and take shelter at the Guru's feet. So as he went to his Guru and take shelter at the Guru's feet, he said, I renounce everything. The Guru wanted to teach him a certain lesson, because you see, when you live a life as a king and then you let go, a certain vanity is still there, So he wanted him to dress himself as a sadhu and go begging in his own kingdom. So he put a grab of a sadhu and he went begging. And when his fellow people, the ministers and his friends and all saw him, they gave him lots of alms, And then he went to beg by his queen. When his queen saw him, they recognized their king, the former king. They gave all their jewelry. Said, what the use of having all the jewelry when our king have renounced everything? So they gave a lot of wealth as begging in his bowl. So he could not carry all of them. So he gave it to other disciple and said, bring him to the ashram. So finally he went to his mother. So when he went to his mother, the mother was so delighted to see his son, and who have achieved a certain grandness, because you see, being a king, he was grand, but even more grand to let go of these things and to take the grab of a sadhu, of a mendicant. Then the mother said to him, look, I am your mother, and I am also a householder. So you have come to ask, you have come to beg. at my place. But my dear child, as a householder, I can't give you anything. But as your mother, I can give you free advice. And he said, please give me this free advice. She said, the first advice that I give you is that you shall, house yourself in a very big fort, castle, strong. Second, sleep on the most softest bed. Third, eat the most delicious and most nicest food. So he was shocked. Then he started to ask his mother. Said, look, I didn't know you, mother. If you will just be another woman, I will think that you are mad. But I do know you. You have given me these three things in alms, but I can't understand really what you mean by that. Because you're telling me to sleep in a fort, I sleep in the forest. And you tell me to sleep to stay in a fort, I stayed in a small hut. And you tell me that to sleep on the most wonderful bed. Actually, the ground is my bed, and you tell me to eat, the most wonderful and delicious food. Actually, whatever I get as an ascetic, that's what I have to eat. So then the mother explained to him, telling him, that as you have taken such a vow in your life, you have to honor this vow. And how you will honor this vow is by building a fort around you. Look, you are handsome, and many women, old and young, will come to listen to you. They will come to be near to you. Don't forget, you come from a royal family. They will be attracted to you. And how you have to guard yourself is only by staying in a fort, which means stayed at the shelter of the Guru. Build your shelter by the satsang and association to the Guru. Because by associating yourself to the Guru, you will not fall into temptation. But that you have to do. You have to take association of your Guru. Second, I told you to sleep on the most wonderful bed. Actually, what I meant is that you should not sleep. You should keep awake. You should meditate night and day. You should keep awake until you can't really stay awake. Like that, no matter where you put your head, whether it is on a thorny bush or on a bed and on a stone itself, it will appear as soft as flower, even more softer than flower. Then I told you to eat the most delicious food. Actually, I said to you indirectly to not eat. Keep hunger. Be hungry, and even if you can't stay fully hungry, eat the most simple food. Like that, whatever you receive in your bowl will appear to be the most delicious food. But this is all about self-control. So when we look at the story itself, you see life, if you want to achieve something great, a certain sacrifice is important. And where does this sacrifice happen? It's happened in the mind itself. So when you let go of certain things, you have to let go out from the mind, then you will be really strong and you will really be disciplined in your spiritual path, in your life itself. Then you will achieve what the saints and the sadhus have achieved. So you don't need to become a sadhu, you don't need to run into a cave, you don't need to run onto the mountain. No, being here itself, this is a time where we are living into the world outside, being here itself, learn to be non-attached to so many unwanted things. Jai Gurudev.